might have heard a rumor that you can't grow tulips in Southern California. These are from Trader Joe's and they probably weren't grown here. But what if I told you you can grow awesome tulips in Southern California? Hi, I'm Chai-Ming, a garden designer and educator here in Los Angeles, California. And today I'm spilling the secrets on how to grow tulips in Southern California or a warmer climate. By the end of this video, you'll feel confident in growing your own tulips. So let's get started. Tulips are iconic, but they come with a catch. They love cold winters, which we don't have here in Southern California. In regions like ours where we rarely get a frost, we have to intervene and create the perfect conditions for the bulbs. But don't let that scare you, it's really easy. So here are the 3 things you need to know about growing tulips. They need a bulb cooling period, well-draining soil, and the right timing. In our region, tulips are treated more like annuals because of this cooling requirement. So let's talk about how to choose the bulbs. They say bigger is better. You want large, firm bulbs because they're little powerhouses packed with everything the plant needs to bloom beautifully. And if you're in a warm climate like me, choosing a variety that's been adapted through breeding is beneficial. One of the more well-known hybrids are the Darwin hybrids. And here's a pro tip, just look for a heat-tolerant bulb. So remember when I just said that tulips need a cooling period? They need actually 8 to 12 weeks of cold temperatures, around 35 to 45 degrees, to mimic their winter dormancy. I don't get that where I live. Rarely do I have nights under 40 to 45 degrees. So I have to place my bulbs in a mesh bag or a breathable container like a paper bag or box and store them in the fridge. But here's another crucial tip for you. Keep them away from fruit and produce like apples because they release ethylene gas that can damage the bulbs. Once your bulbs are done chilling, remember 8 to 12 weeks, it's time for planting. You want to choose a spot with well-draining soil and lots of sun. If your soil is heavy, mix in compost and new soil to improve drainage. And the other tip, plant with a bulb tip facing up. I don't grow in a lot of space and I also grow them as a cut flower, so I kind of ignore the spacing. After planting, you just give them a really good soak and then hold off watering until you see green shoots. Now, in Southern California where it can be really dry, I would recommend touching the soil to make sure that the soil does not dry out, especially if you are going to grow them in containers. If you're planting them in the ground, a nice thin layer of mulch can help keep the moisture even. Okay, as they grow, water sparingly. Too much water can actually rot your bulbs. So once they do emerge, you have to watch out for snails and slugs because they love to eat tulips. You can spread diatomaceous earth around the tulips to keep the snails and slugs away. And if we happen to have a heat wave, you may want to consider giving them a shade cloth. At my house, I'm zone 10B, but I'm also in a coastal microclimate. So even if it does get hot, the random heat waves never really get us above 75 in the winter. So I just plant them and let it go. And after a few weeks, you'll see your tulips form a bud. Now, 1 bulb, 1 tulip. So you might wonder, how many of these do I need to buy? Well, it depends on how many flowers you want. So I wasn't going to plant tulips this year because of the amount of work that you do have to pre-chill them and you need to put them in the fridge. Well, I bought them. I bought them because I was at the nursery and I couldn't resist. However, life got busy and I did not chill them. Maui wants to. Here's my cat. Just to say hello. So my tulips ended up on my bookshelf in my office and never made it into the fridge. And they have totally sprouted. Let me open one of these. So these two, so this is the Darwin hybrid I was talking about. There are planting guides on the back of most of these, but for growing tulips as cut flowers, I don't really follow this. So they come in these little plastic bags, and here is the bulb. You see? So you're going to plant pointy, this one's obvious, but pointy tip, there we go, pointy tip up. You're gonna place this in the soil. You might want to plant it 4 to 6 inches minimum, like about this deep. Some people like to do a layer situation. If you did a sideways cut of the pot, some like to layer in their bulbs like this. 1, 2, 3. So then you have a lot of flowers in a smaller space. I really liked these from Proven Winners because they are a double tulip. So you can see there's a lot of petals. I am a sucker for anything with high petal count. This is another Darwin hybrid. And you can see they're all sprouting. This one actually has a little bit of growth on it. Oops. Okay, mommy. Okay, mama. He wants some screen time. He wants some. Want to show everybody hello? The little toe beans. Wearing black with a white cat is not the smartest, but. Can you hear him? Here, you want to mic up? Let me mic you up. Here, mama. He loves hanging out in the greenhouse with me. Okay, we gotta work, mama. Okay, so put this back on. All right, so I am way late in planting my own tulips. I did see Descanso Garden just planted theirs, so it should be okay timing-wise. Now the difference is, I'm assuming they have pre-chilled bulbs and mine are not pre-chilled. So what I expect to find is that my tulips are going to have a shorter stem. So the ones in this video, I actually chilled properly, and you can see I have proper 12, 14, 16-inch stems. So we'll see in a few weeks how these do. I did find one vendor that still has some pre-chilled bulbs, so I might order them just to compare. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see that side by side. They would be different varieties, but at least you could see pre-chilled versus not pre-chilled and the difference. Now, like I said, I grow them for cut flowers and I do not save the bulbs. The only reason why I would save a bulb is I was lazy or I forgot and did not remove the bulbs. Now, if you want to have success in Southern California with long stem tulips, you would want to dig them out, clean them off, and then put them in the fridge to store for at least 8 to 12 weeks, again, every single fall and winter. If you don't mind the stem length, you can try to leave them in the ground and see what happens. Growing tulips takes a little bit of extra work here in Southern California, but it's worth it. Just imagine how happy you will be when you harvest your own tulips. If you can find pre-chilled bulbs, order those and get those in the ground ASAP. If you find bulbs at the nursery, you can definitely plant those. Just adjust your expectations on the stem length because you don't have 8 to 12 weeks to chill them. I would definitely have them planted by mid to late February at the very, very latest. If you are further inland, find a spot in your garden that doesn't get as hot but still gets ample sun. If you can find pre-chilled bulbs, that would be your best bet. And if neither of those options for you, just wait a little bit. You can pre-order your fall bulbs in spring, so then they arrive in fall, you can pre-chill them on your own in the fridge. Yes, that means they will take up the entire drawer of your fridge. I have an extra fridge outside, and that's what I did. It takes an extra drawer for 2 to 3 months. Not gonna lie, my husband did ask why I bought so many onions. So now it's time to get planting. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments and tell me what you're gonna grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.